After I saw the 50th report from the Surgeon General about the progress on tobacco control and prevention, I had to stand up to make a change. You see, even though the percentage of smokers in America decreased in the past 50 years, the number of deaths related to smoking continued to rise. And smoking is still considered the #1 cause of preventable disease and death in the US, killing about 500,000 Americans every year. And in Michigan, about 20% of adults smoke tobacco products. This is about 4% above the national average, and traditionally, Michigan kept this record. Now, we know cigarettes today contain more chemicals to get people addicted faster to nicotine, and many of these chemicals known to cause cancer. That is without to mention that nearly 15% of high school students use e-cigarettes on a daily basis, and the long-term effect from it is still unclear. The bad news, every year more than 16,000 Michiganders will die from smoking cigarettes. But the good news, every year about 70% of adult smokers make an attempt to quit. At first, they will try on their own. However, after a few unsuccessful attempts, they will seek professional help. And what is the best method offered today by health experts? A program that was developed by the World Health Organization over 20 years ago. In that method, medication, nicotine replacement therapy, and professional consultation are applied. A lot of money is invested to expose smokers to this method and convince them to try. It's even offered free of charge. This may sound like a progression is made, right? However, I'm not sure that you are aware about the latest research that was advertised in Addiction magazine on January of 2018. Now, the picture is clear. After 1 year from the time of cessation started, only 8 out of 100 smokers will remain smoke-free. As Dr. Leah Rosen, the research team leader, concluded, according to our findings, 8 of every 100 smokers did, in fact, benefit from smoking cessation drugs, which in itself justifies the continued effort to use such medications. In other words, Dr. Rosen is telling us that the World Health Organization program is effective only by 3 to 5% more than if someone stopped smoking without any help. Ladies, gentlemen, what if I told you that we can do much better and save many lives? But before I show you how we can do it, I would like to introduce myself to you.
Live from Detroit's news leader, you're watching WDIV, Local 4, America Strikes Back.
Now we've seen that patriotism is alive and well here in Metro Detroit, with flags flying from homes, cars, even pinned on clothing.
And Local 4's Paula Tutman introduces us to Ultimate Patriot, who will carry the flag by himself for 26 long miles.
What we're facing as Americans right now can bring out the best in us and the worst in us. It can show our strengths and our weaknesses. And for one local man who was born with a damaged heart, it is showing truly how much heart he really has, as he literally puts his best foot forward to help bring up the morale of his countrymen. 38-year-old Yair Rubin is in training as a power walker, and that in itself is a feat. He's a former heart patient, has had open heart surgery, had his share of doom and gloom from physicians, and decided not to play along with the hand that was dealt him. That said, he refuses to allow what's happening to America to break his salvaged heart.
I think everybody needs extra support in any way. If I'm going to walk the marathon, why not to do it with a flag?
And imagine the sight, a flag bobbing in the air, in the wind, for 26 miles.
To see a man walking down the street with a flag participating in the marathon, I think it would be a great event for all of us.
If you see it, and it makes you smile, or cheer, or fills your heart, Yair will consider this marathon well raced.
A lot of red, white, and blue out here in Detroit today. A lot of marathon runners telling me they were inspired by something much deeper this year. Signs of patriotism virtually everywhere along the 26-mile course. And remember this man, Yair Reuven? We first introduced you to him a few days ago while he was gearing up for his power walk with an American flag strapped to his waist and his head.
Wow, how can I say how was it? I mean, it was incredible because it was so windy. Now, in the flag, yeah, so now I don't have just to race for myself, also for the flag.
You see, like many smokers, I started smoking in my teens at the age of 16. In my first time, I quit just before my open heart surgery to correct the defect in my heart. At the time, I was 26 years old and I didn't touch cigarettes for 8 years. Unfortunately, when I visited a friend of mine in France, after an enjoyable dinner he offered, and I smoked only one cigarette. That got me right back to the addiction. 4 years later, my cardiologist recommended me to take medication for high blood pressure and angina pectoris. Then I knew I had to do something drastic about my addiction to cigarette. My health and my life will depend on it. In March of 2000, I exchanged my addiction to nicotine with addiction to health and physical activity. By the end of 2002, after I finished my studies in natural healing, I moved back to Israel to heal the nation from heart diseases. There, I appeared on every media and became an expert in natural healing. But I wasn't prepared for the cruel divorce of 2008. The only thing I wanted to do after a nerve-wracking court hearing was to smoke a cigarette. Look at me. In 2012, I smoked while I was wearing a shirt from a stairwell racing up one of Tel Aviv's towers where I participated a few years earlier. I was on top of the world, and now I was back walking in the valley of death. When everything failed for me, I started my own research about addiction to cigarettes. I must say that there were a lot of trials and errors throughout the 3-year personal search, but at the end of 2015, I had a plan in my hand. A few months later, on February 2016, I applied my plan to wean myself, and I haven't touched a cigarette since then. I wasn't surprised when I didn't have the withdrawal symptoms associated with small cessation, as I felt many times before. I didn't have the craving coming from the mind because it collaborated with my decision not to smoke cigarettes anymore. I also lost weight in the process and got into better shape. At the end of 2017, my desire to reunite with my grown son brought me back from Israel to Michigan. At first, I thought to start working in the field of my expertise in natural healing, but that wasn't challenging enough for me. Then I realized that I was smoke-free for 2 years already, and I thought that teaching how to free smokers from nicotine and cigarettes addiction will be the best contribution I can give to humanity. In the beginning of 2018, I started the first stage of my project. I wrote the program as I remembered it and revised it and rewrote it again in a 5-chapter format. In the second stage, I needed to prove my method also works on other smokers. I then created an online course in Hebrew, my native language, and produced it on videos. In the third stage, I convinced a few dozen Israeli smokers to enroll in my program and successfully win them from smoking. Now I'm ready for the fourth stage of my project, to teach the program in America, and I would like to start here in Michigan. You see, 18 years ago, after the worst terror attack on American soil, my consciousness led me to raise the flag and power walk with it the whole length of a marathon. I did it for the moral of the grieving nation, and for the memory of 2,977 innocent Americans who died by the sword of terror. But now, we all face the consequences of long-term terror attack on our nation and on the rest of the world by the tobacco companies. Every year we are losing 16,200 Michiganders, nearly 500,000 Americans, and 2 million people around the world because they smoke cigarettes. And please don't forget about 70% of smokers in the US that want to quit the killing habit, but only 6% of them succeed. Now, my consciousness calls me to raise the flag once again. Immediate action must be taken, and I'm ready for it. This time, I'm not going to do it by myself, but through social innovation. If you are legislator, lawmaker, community leader, educator, media personnel, or even if you are contributing to public health through nonprofit organization, look, even if you are just someone who cares about the life and health of others, you may want to be part of our social innovation idea that could affect the life of 1.5 million Michiganders, 38 million Americans, and about 2 billion smokers around the world. Now you know, something can be done to assist smokers to successfully wean themselves from cigarettes. You can either ignore it, or together we can change it. The choice is in your hand, but I believe you will choose to help to save many lives. This is the time we should join hands for one common goal. My gut feeling tells me that together we can do it through social innovation. I need you to stand up together with us now. Please give me your hand and join our social innovation idea that could change the life of smokers in Michigan, in America, and in the rest of the world. Now, if you understand the urgency of this matter and want to help push it forward or be part of it, please contact me and share it with relevant people. Together, we can help make America soar again and set an example to the rest of the world. Who knows, maybe you'll have a hand in changing the world and help to eradicate the irresponsible use of tobacco. By the way, beneath this video, you'll find for your view the outline and summary of the 5 steps for winning the smoke cessation I developed. Thank you very much.